right. Today we have Willy Wilcox, golfer extraordinaire, now podcaster, now kind of everything, still professional golfer. Dude, thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking your time. Obviously, you had a big story come out about your life, which we're all about stories on here. But man, how are things going?
They're going good. I appreciate y'all having me on. I was just saying to him a second ago that I've never done a podcast at 7 a.m. So, it's just part of that Monday motivation. So I'm flattered and appreciate it. Everything's good though. I'm just, golf freak again. Got my love for the game back. I've really only been playing about 2 months, but I'm starting to flush. I've gone from like a 176 iron to I can get 200 out of it. 200 out of it if I get a gap.
So 30-yard difference in irons, huh?
Yeah.
Is it?
So, the driver's stupid too.
Are you, as far as you said you got the love for the game back? Is it one of those things too? I mean, you've played golf your whole life, right? And when you're a young kid, it's like, this is sick. I want to do this forever. Then because we played professionally, a different sport, obviously we'd love to play professional golf. It's just not in the cards. But like it gets to a point where I don't want to say it's just not the fun game, but there is a time when it switches to work, right? And we felt that. I felt that early on, and so did Slaw, because I was undrafted. I was going to get released every 5 seconds, I felt like.
Oh, wow.
But towards the end, or as I started playing, I was able to make it fun again. And then when I retired, I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. But is it one of those things like it's almost like you're a little kid again? Because, dude, there is nothing better to me now. Now, obviously, I didn't do it for a living. I when I was younger, maybe not, but like I could go out and just hit balls for a couple hours and just work on shots and work on, like, I love the game. Are you at that point again?
Definitely. I played the Monday after the Masters Pro-Am the other day. That was super awesome. Y'all should play it one day if you get a chance. Over in Myrtle, hosted by Darius Rucker. Anyway, so I got there on Sunday, and I've been to that event 8 times, and I've never gotten to the tournament and been like, I want to go play a practice round, for a Pro-Am. So they let me out there. I played golf, and then after the round I hit balls for, like you said, a couple hours. Just really loving it. So yeah, it's weird. Just the physical and mental change that I've gone through over the last couple of months is pretty wild. I don't know if you ever made any lifestyle changes that were big that made you more enthusiastic about your sport when you were playing, but it's crazy. It's like I've lost 15 years off my life, and it's just like go time every day. So
well, I think we need to get right down to the meat and potatoes here, because there might be 1 or 2 listeners we got that have no idea what we're talking about.
1 or 2, because that's how many followers we have.
We have like 7, and I'm sure the other 5 have seen the article or seen the podcast you did. What was it, a week and a half ago, talking about kind of how your career was going and kind of the things that you were doing. So I'll kind of let you tell your story here.
Tell the Willy Wilcox kind of life story, if you would.
I mean, it's a wild deal. I just, from a small town in Alabama, blue collar, and everybody was just getting down at a young age, and by that I mean everybody was getting altered. It started at a young age, but I was still really good at golf, so I was able to kind of deflect a lot of the negativity and stuff with my low scores. But and that continued until I was into my 30s. So it was like when I was about 13 or 14, we started, drinking and stuff, and then it just kind of went on from there. And in the bathroom, my high school was like a legit open air drug market. I swear to God, like, people have a hard time understanding that. I'm sure other high schools are in the state and in this country, but it was so crazy. And anyways, got a full ride to UAB, screwed that up, a couple DUIs my freshman year. But then, so I didn't play golf for about a year. Worked in a paper mill. What else did I do? I worked in the kitchen for $5.15. That was like 06. Living on a cot in my sister's apartment at Auburn. So it's always been a roller coaster for me. I go from winning big tournaments to like crashing and burning, and then I do something else, good on the golf course, and then, everything's forgiven. My life's always been like, Will, you're a piece of crap. Oh, hey, great, second place finish. We love you again. Come over for dinner. So I swear it's just been this crazy paradox in my entire life. And anyways, I went to Clayton State, got first team All-American a couple times. You're a D-tour, right, Danny?
Bro, for life.
Yeah.
For life.
You were player of the year a couple times, weren't you?
Yeah. Where'd you say you went to Clayton? It was Clayton?
It's in Atlanta. It's downtown Atlanta. Or, well,
so you're familiar with North Alabama University in Florence?
Very much so, yeah. I mean, I'm in Alabama right now.
So that's where the player of the year deal used to be. It was the most amazing experience I think I ever had. It was, bro, it was an amazing experience because they'd have the Harlan Hill, which is the Heisman for Division II there. Nice. And I got to experience the just the Alabama way of life, that how kind and loving the people were. It was always, not always, because it was only 2 years, but I remember after winning it, I didn't even care about winning it that next year. I was like, I just want to go hang out with the people that I hung out with. It was amazing.
Hospitality.
It was one of the most one of the most fun things. I did want to kind of, before you keep going on, you said, I think it's really interesting because you're like, man, I was always crashing and burning, or I was like sick. Like I was awesome. Like I'm winning tournaments, or I got a second place finish, whatever. It's kind of funny. Like you think of a lot, because I think there's a lot more people that deal with that than people know. Maybe not on the same, like maybe not when your exact story.
Yeah, highs and lows.
Yes, but the highs and lows. And I think that's Slau, you kind of jump in too, but like I think that's something that very, very high performers deal with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, because it's such a roller coaster to put all your eggs in the basket of, using your body to make money, and you got to be an athlete. You got to live like a pro. And there are just times that you slip and don't. I mean, I don't know if. Seems like you've always been a really hard worker. I would imagine Danny Woodhead probably hasn't had too many downtimes,
but I've been fired a lot, and that's a crash and burn feeling still.
Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, I can't imagine the volatility in the NFL is just absolutely nuts. I can't believe you played for over 10 years. How long did you play in the NFL?
10 also.
10.
Yeah, I was lucky. Something you said kind of resonated with me. Well, a lot of things did, but one of the things you said was, how people, hate you, they don't care about you, and then you do something good, and then it's like you're back. Yeah. That's something I haven't thought about in a long time, but it is hard, something you have to get used to as a pro, how so much of your life is that. I mean, as a professional football player, it's what can you do for me now, or what have you just done for me? But if I had a good game 4 games ago and I've been crap since, well, guess what? I'm gone.
Wow.
And that's just what sports are anyways. I mean, you're a hired gun, you're a mercenary, so you're paid to do a job and you're expected to get that job done. Golf, I would assume, is no different there. I mean, you can get your tour card and then lose it really quick.
Yeah. Football's got to be tough with the team aspect of it, because you feel like you're letting your other players down. That's got to be a whole nother emotional level to it.
Yeah. And there's Slau's kind of touched on it before. Then there's also, like, if you're on a team that like has a terrible culture, or guys don't work hard, those people also, which a little different with, I guess, golf, but with the team aspect, you have some people that say one of the teams we were on together, and we won't name names, Slaw probably will, but if other people,
Chargers, shocker.
if other people don't do their jobs, that can also, that affects your money, or that affects your job status. Because if we're on a suck team, then our chances of free agency being, as lucrative it just may not be there. And so it's kind of a weird deal. So then you're also reliant on other people. It's a weird deal. It's tough. Hopefully you go out and you show the guys that show who they are, and it's very noticeable, like that they're dependable, accountable, all of that and the other. You're going to have a job usually, but it's just, it can get messy with that too.
Especially in your position.
Well, and I know Danny,
yeah.
I know Danny didn't deal with this because he has a great family that I've met numerous times. But I don't so much. If my parents were in the road in front of me, there wouldn't be swerve marks. So the conditional love thing, as parents, you would expect unconditional love, right? No strings attached. Well, I thought it was weird early in my career that I felt like now there was strings attached. There was expectations that I now do things for them. And, if I'm going through some difficulties in my life and my career, that,
they don't care.
They don't. That was an eye opener for me. I don't know if you dealt with anything like that, but I really struggled with the fact that, especially at the Jets, when I was playing for the Jets, that organization, which I think is a pretty good organization. I think they're always doing shitty because they can never get the general manager and head coach on the same page. But as far as just an organizational deal where they're trying to give the players all the resources they need.
Oh, they try to give the players the edge for sure.
They do really well with that. The strength staff, for the most part, is always good. The training room staff, for the most part, is always good. Support staff is awesome. They just always fail because the GM and coach aren't on the same page.
That's interesting. Would have thought it would come with talent.
No.
But I know nothing about, I just love to watch football. I don't know anything about the innards.
Well, because that organization treated me very poorly, and that's where I spent the majority of my time. I was dealing with some real hard stuff, and I'd call my parents like, "Hey, I need help." And the response I would get was, "Doesn't matter if it's tough. You're playing in the NFL.
Yeah,
so just get over it. And by the way, we need money for this." It's like, oh, okay, fuck me.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, that's brutal. I mean, I've been through very similar things in golf. It was just like everybody had their hand out. Everybody was judging, more importantly.
For sure.
That's what's crazy. People, they want money from you, but then, I remember when I got suspended, they were like, everybody was like, "You're the world's biggest pile of crap. We all hate you. You threw away everything. You worked your whole life for this. And how could you let this happen?" And then I finished 8th in my first tournament back. And it was like parties for Will.
It's like, we love you. Were there a decent amount of people that when that happened, when you were suspended, were like, "What are you doing?" Like,
oh, every people that I was so close with, in St. Croix. I lived in the islands for many years, and or at least for a good 3 to 6 month chunk of the year. I lived in the USVI, and it was kind of like my getaway. It was like where I would go run and hide and like grind, and I get away from all my bad influences. And even there, when I showed up, when I was suspended, I was like, I'm just going to go kick it down here. I'm going to play golf every day, hang out with my people. As I get down there, and same thing, they were so disappointed. And literally the time before that, they'd given me a key to the city of the little island, Christiansted. And they did this whole photo shoot and video thing. I went to the city hall meeting, and they were like, "You're St. Croix's favorite son, we adopt you." And then they threw me a party, gave me a cake. And then I come back, get suspended, go back, and they're like, "Yeah,
what are you doing here?"
I think it would be best if you weren't here. I'm just like, dang.
That's crazy, man. I mean, and I think we do that as a society far too often. I'm not saying the same exact situation, but I mean, if you think about it with anything, when people go through something, they don't need piling on, right? They don't need, like, you're an idiot. Yeah. You know what? I realized I wasn't that smart in that situation. But I need someone here to, actually kind of love me and care about me.
Yeah.
The last thing, like, kind of like you, Slaw, like you're talking about that, especially after your parents are taking money from you. The last thing you want to hear is like, suck it up. It's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like, maybe even if I have no money, like, love me.
Even in the most shitty way to think about it. I'm going, hey, I'm paying for your affection here, fuckers.
Yeah.
So can you step up and listen to me for a second? But yeah, I mean, look, it's like people aren't allowed to make a mistake anymore. I mean, look, that's how we are as humans. That's what we're supposed to be. We make mistakes. We suck at life sometimes, and we have to go through that crap to come out the other side and go, well, I messed all that up. So now I'm going to be better for it. I'm going to be a better player. I'm going to be a better husband. I'm going to be a better father. People are just so quick to cancel now, just because they don't want the liability. They want to protect sensitivity. Just call it what it is. People are just being people.
Yeah.
And we need to allow people the space to do that.
Adversity is I don't know. I think it's a good thing. I mean, obviously the lows suck, but yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, it's about how you bounce back. So
something you said earlier that I just want to point a clarification on, when you said you started drinking at 13.
Yeah.
So I watched your interview on Twitter where you're talking about coming out and playing well, and on the way to the course you had some drinks and had some stuff.
Yeah.
Was that happening when you were in high school too, where you were drinking before golf tournaments?
It was more pill popping. I mean, I'm sure I did drink. But it wasn't like, and when I was on tour, it was the combination. It was like that extra like head rush that I was searching for. And I didn't have it on Thursday or Friday, and I'd scrape together like, I always used to shoot 71.69, 71.68, something like that. And then the guy would cruise in town, and then I'd shoot 65 on Saturday, and it was like clockwork. And yeah, when he showed up, I was like Superman. And then Sunday I'd get a little shaky. But,
so you were kind of, it was like a vicious cycle where you like needed it to kind of calm your nerves a little bit, and then you'd play awesome, and then you'd get jittery again, so you need it to calm down again.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's a dead end. It's nothing that you can, sustain for any amount of time, especially playing sports, because eventually you just like wither away. I think I put on 17 pounds in the last.
Oh my gosh.
Month. Yeah. So I plan on being $170 when we go to Nebraska. So watch out.
Let's go.
Yeah. I swear I was under 150 pounds, and now I'm like, I had to weigh myself last time, 162. But anyways.
So you were blown away almost.
Pretty much. I was swinging it about $105 like a little kid. I was horrible. I mean, I swear I was hitting it so short. My pitching wedge is the main one. I was hitting pitching wedge from like 126. Now yesterday I play golf with my mom. I had $155 and I was like, hey mom, check this out. And just airmail one. And this one par 3 was 204. And this is the first time I played with my mom since I got right. And I was like, I'm gonna carry this 6-iron to the pin. And I did 3 out of 4 times. One, I kind of Healy damned over to the right. Yeah. But it's still like front edge. I was like, I whiffed this 194. Yeah, I wish I would have.
What irons are you playing?
What irons?
Yeah, just out of curiosity.
the 639 CBs, but I'm about to get the 659s, the sub 70s. Got to plug them. Like,
Yeah.
Got the shirt on.
Have you played the TA3s at all?
I want to. I mean, anything with Tommy Armour the third on there, the stripe show is something I need to explore. But I want to just go to Sycamore and be like, can I just hang out here for the next day or so?
Or like a week?
Yeah, at least I need at least 72 hours of hitting balls for 12 hours a day in their studio.
When you do, just let us know because we'll go too. But the 659s look nails.
They do. And
are you going to get what are you getting, the TCs, the CBs, or the MBs?
TCs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what Jason texted me yesterday.
Isn't it unreal how far, like just how long the sub 70 irons are?
They're great. I mean, just the price point and the how personal, like you can just call the CEO, like what? And
right.
But they are great clubs, and you get primo shafts, and it's like, they're $700. So they've been good to me, and yes, I do. I've got 120S's, KBS's, because I got them when I was like a total weakling, and now that I'm humming it, I need like 130X's. I
was gonna say you're not gonna be able to play those anymore, bro.
They're hooking. I'm pretty much if I flush it, like really flush it, it goes left every time out of the center of the club face. So I'm like, all right, that thing's got to be shutting down.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, gaining 15 pounds in not long amount of time, that'll do it, because you're probably actually getting strength and speed.
Yeah, I can't even look at my swing from January. I can't even look at pictures of myself. I've actually deleted all of them. It was early January when I realized I had to get right, and did shortly thereafter. But yeah, it was crazy. Now, because I ordered the irons for the absolutely withering away will, and now I'm starting to be the cut up will. I got out of treatment and I could do one dip, and yesterday I did 17.
Sick.
I can do 17 pull-ups, and I could do one when I got out. Anyway, it's been a crazy transformation, but when you're putting nothing but poison in your body, and then you put nothing but good stuff in your body, you're going to go through a remarkable transformation.
That's amazing. How through the whole time did your family or anyone, did they have any idea what was going on, or was it something you were able to just hide?
I mean, I hit it from the age of 15 to 31-ish, I would say. So that's a pretty good chunk of time. But I mean, when I turned pro at 22, I started making good money, and I made probably 4.5 total playing golf. So like, it's like, even if somebody did say like, man, your eyes are pinpoints, it'd be like, do you want to not receive your stipend? So I would just be like, get off my case, man. I love you. I mean, I'm still here for you. Even though I really wasn't mentally. I would physically be there, but mentally I couldn't be there for anybody. But yeah, they would say stuff, but then over the last 12 months, really since the pandemic, it's just been like, bro, what are you doing? And my buddy grabbed me, Rodney, and he was just, I mean, he'll tell it like it is. This guy, he's a big country boy. Y'all would love this dude, actually. Rodney, shout out Rodney. He's
what's up, Rodney?
He's got the best crappie fishing video. It's like viral online. He has like 60 crappie underneath his jacket, between his t-shirt and his jacket. He's just he's opening the bottom of the shirt and dumping them in a bucket, and it's like crappie world whatever, and it's got like 100,000 views. Anyways, Tally, I went to the Texas A&M Auburn basketball game, and I'm like falling asleep, and it's just horrible, not a good look. And Rodney, we went up, got some food, and kind of he pulled me to the side, and he grabbed me by the shoulders, and he was just like, I don't know what the hell's going on with you, but like something's got to change. He's like, I know what you're on, but I don't know exactly what you're on, but I know what you're up to. And he's like, you better get treatment really quick or you're going to lose everything. And I was just like, damn it. And I was like, all right. And then like 4 days later, I was in.
Oh, so Rodney was definitely a guy that like stuck with you, and he's like, hey, Let's figure something. You need to figure something out.
Oh yeah. He's always stuck with me. I mean, he'd caddy for me on the Hooters tour back in the day. He's such a big dude. He would carry the bag like a briefcase. He's like, my arms are bigger than my legs. And I mean, this dude's a freak athlete. I'm telling you, he could have played pro baseball, but he wouldn't get on them roids in the late 90s. But that's what all the scouts wanted him to do, and he just wouldn't do it. But Tally, my mom, and between those, that was all I needed to hear. And my other good buddy in Atlanta.
So when you so going through that, what was the reason that you decided to get clean? Was there like besides him talking, was there a light bulb? And it's like, because I mean, there's got to be a time where it's like, okay, I'm going.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it had gotten to the point where, money's dwindling, your brain's dwindling, you're just a pile of crap. And like, I have a lot of lessons and a lot of people that want to, be around me, and you can't really be around people in that state. At least you're just all over the place, because either like your stomach's hurting, your head's hurting, you're malnourished, you're dehydrated, you're just a wreck. And I mean, hell, I just went on a 22-year run, and I'm 35 years old. That is a bad combo. That ratio is way off. And so I'm going to need a good 8 or 10 years, just to like level that crap out. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a sad thing. I hate that it happened. But it was like I was in this vicious cycle and couldn't stop. And I know I'm a product of my environment. I'm not a bad person.
No.
I just, I've always tried to be nice and stuff. But yeah, I was just withering away, like you said. And I had to, I was like, oh my God, I've been doing this for over 20 years. Like it was one of those things. It's like, I mean, if you do it for 30, you're dead. You know what I mean? That's what that was my thinking. Or I'm going to go to jail, and I don't think 150-pound Will is going to do too well.
You're not going to do great. I mean, I've never been to jail, but I've heard stories. And 150-pound Willy Wilcox that's probably not going to be beneficial for you unless you're into that.
About a day. But I ain't going to jail. And I'm not going to die either. I'm going to live till I'm about 95, and I'm going to be shooting about 81 until my last day.
Really? I'm only I hope it changes, but I think I'm only living till 94.
94.
Yeah. And Slauson says, what did you say you're living till, like 52 or something?
Oh, that's what the average is for NFL linemen. I believe I'm gonna try to get as close as I can to 65. If I hit that, like that's fucking gold right there.
He's shooting so low. He's like,
really?
No chance. Hey, you'll be able to shoot your age on 9 though.
Yeah.
True. That's true. I mean, people shooting their age is one of the coolest things about golf, because you see an older fella or lady just elated. The golf is so good in that way, but I think you're doing good for O-lineman. I saw the Broke documentary. You're looking a lot better than those guys, dude.
Hey, that's true. We're comparing ourselves to the Broke though, and
that's true. I guess that's the lowest of them.
That's about the lowest of lows. Yeah. So then you get there, you go into treatment. How long were you there then?
It was only 10 days, but it was this revolutionary treatment. It cost as much as a Honda Civic. It's a great car. But yeah, it was put down the money, and they strapped this thing to my ear. Couldn't take that off for 6 days, and it sends these electric currents into your head to block withdrawal symptoms. And they pump you full of this stuff called NAD, which is naturally occurring in the brain. It's this Eastern medicine thing. It's not conventional medicine. Dr. Krishna Danaparthy in Atlanta, total legend. He saved my life. The nurses were also super cool. I needed a lot of pep talks in the first 5 days, and those nurses were right there the whole time. And it's a one-on-one thing. It's not a group dynamic, which I wouldn't have been able to handle.
Right.
Because that's like, let's meet other people with the same problems. Pass.
I've always been curious.
No, thank you.
Go ahead and change my circle.
I've always been curious about that. About when you see how drug recovery meetings or AA meetings are portrayed. And they got all these people telling their stories in a group. And I'm like, God, I can't imagine that's actually helpful.
Yeah. I mean,
Now,
the unburdening of the story is helpful.
yeah.
Meeting 26 other total lunatics, not
Yeah. But to the other 26 people, that's got to be hurting, because the amount of depression you're adding onto them.
Yeah. Well, war stories are
know.
fun to tell. That's what they call them in the treatment world, war stories. And everybody wants to talk about that. Just get in vivid detail about how crazy they were. It's almost like it's a pissing contest in there. And I just don't want to be a part of that. And people are like, are you doing AA meetings? I'm like, no, I don't want to go to an AA meeting. I just talk to people that I care about, and they talk to me,
It's kind of interesting. Like, so obviously everyone has their own battles. Everyone has their own things. When I retired, I went through like a time of like depression, anxiety, stress, all kinds of, and I don't know why. Like it's just one of those things, right? Like I wanted to retire. And the best thing for me was talking to people that I was close to and just sharing and them loving me and them caring about me. And and obviously my faith, that's what got me through it. Like, and thankfully, seasonal stuff up here in Nebraska, you can get that anyways. You can get the seasonal depression, the blues or whatever. But yeah, no, that's awesome. Now today, obviously, you're back at it. You're golfing. What does everything look like now for you as far as like your life? Like, what are you doing? Are you trying to play again? Because I see the videos, the swing looks nails. Obviously you got the talent, like that's not even the question. I know you're going to be on my team at Dismal and we're going to win a lot of money from Colgate and Mikey D, but that's whatever.
I got to get that flat.
We're playing a match.
Yeah. You act like I'm not up to snuff for this fucking match. I'm going to be like a
Mikey,
3 by
Mikey, if you're playing to you might be playing to a 3, but you'll say you're a 10. You got that Highland handicap.
No, I'm a 7.7 right now.
But you can choose 4.
Yeah, exactly, Slaw. Like
I have.
You know what, Willie? If we get any money games with Slaw, there has to be negotiation, because it's not a real handy.
Yeah. He's
one of those. When I'm on your team,
I post everything.
Every single thing. It's been posted.
But go ahead, Willie, about your life. What's going on now?
Hey, the American handicap system is all jacked up. The one in Europe's really legit. I don't know if y'all know how that works.
No.
You play medal rounds, and the pro has to sign off on it. You have to have 2 attests, signatures.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and they do it on like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever, and Saturday. And in order to post for your handicap, it's like a legit like tee time with people. And you can only post those rounds. That's why the handicaps are way higher in Europe. But I digress. I just think their system is way more solid.
Yeah.
So that's when you play over there as an amateur, you can be like, oh, I'm a +5. And like the best handicap in Scotland is this dude who's dirty, and he's like a +2.1.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but over here, literally, you have people that are like +8s and 9s, and it's just like, come on, dude.
Right. So over in Scotland, I'd be like a 12 then. Oh shit.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
then I'd be a 10.
We go off Scotland handicaps.
I'd be a 10.
The weather is also terrible.
You'd get 1 each side.
Yeah.
So much crap.
But yeah, I wake up at like 5:45 every day right now.
Let's go.
Yeah, I just pop up. Because I crash so hard. Like last night, I fell asleep in my golf clothes with my keys in my pocket on the couch and didn't wake up for like 7 hours. So I'm definitely laying on the keys at one point or the other. I'm just so exhausted because I do so much every day, whether it's playing 36 or giving like 5 lessons or going to the gym. I'm doing,
you're just going.
I'm constantly. Yeah. I'm up and out. Before I was just a lump on a log. Now I'm the opposite of that. So yeah, I just wake up and try to crush it, just whatever I'm doing, even if it's nothing that big. although the lessons are taking off, so that's giving me a lot of confidence. I mean, people are talking about flying in and taking the lessons. I'm like, what? It was like,
I'll be there.
Like, I mean, come on, if you want, I'll show you a goat ranch, or we can go to a nice course. Which one do you want to go to?
Goat ranch preferably, but whatever.
Yeah. I'm going to one heck of a goat ranch in about 2 hours to play with my new sponsor son. So that's another thing that's going crazy. Not only am we getting some sponsors for the podcast, but I've got a sponsor from my golf. A lawyer, actually the same lawyer who got me out of the 2 DUIs when I was 18, is now giving me money. And so now I get to travel for free. If I don't get through the Monday a week from today in Huntsville, then I'm going to play mini tour event 3 rounds in Panama City on the Emerald Coast Tour. So yeah, and then I'll do the Nashville Monday, Knoxville Monday, and then the U.S. Open qualifiers right after that. So I've got 4 straight weeks of golfing under the gun. Been a minute. So if I just go out and shoot, like, I don't even care what I shoot.
Who cares if you shoot 100? You're not gonna.
Yeah.
But like
just being there is just gonna be nice, and just to see all my buddies like James Driscoll, Andrew Loop, some of my buddies from the tour, will be there. So it'll be a nice little reunion there, and it'll just be like, all right, I'm part of the gang again.
That's sick. I mean,
the cool thing is, you're not going to shoot as bad as Bryson at the Masters. So that's,
yeah. Was he like 17 over? I don't know what he was.
I don't know, but I just saw.
If you go from his par 67, I think it's more.
Yeah.
I just saw the media.
That was a bold statement.
That was a tough look.
The media is trying to save him hard now, saying that, I had all these injuries. He's got to get operations. That's why he's been playing bad. No, he just sucks. Okay.
That's why Tiger won the U.S. Open with a broken leg and a torn ACL and whatever.
Yeah. Well, I walked around Augusta on Saturday, and I'm sitting there looking at these holes and these pin positions. And Bryson is not known for his wedge game, right? And
no.
And if you're not disgusting with your wedges, like, I don't care if you can hit it 420. From 50 yards at Augusta, you're screwed. You have to have spin on the ball. And I watched Tiger lay sod over a wedge on 7 and hit it like 35 yards short. The hardest flop shot I've ever seen in my life. You couldn't see him, first of all. You could see
unreal.
You could see the top of his backswing. I assume you've been to the Masters?
I haven't. I want to.
Wow.
But I know like every hole.
Yeah. So 7 is the downhill,
yep.
And then back up. And the green is like something you've never seen before. I was like, who designed this? It's nuts. And the way and they put the pins right on the spine. Tiger's pumping downwind, pin 10 feet above his head, over a bunker to a downslope, pumping down 17 miles an hour. Tiger takes his full swing at it, goes straight up, like as high as the pine trees, and lands like a bag of sand, like 4 feet, still in the gnarly little slider down the hill. And he just breathes on this putt dead center. And I was like, that was the best up and down I've ever seen in my life. We'll see Bryson do that.
That's probably not happening, huh?
Yeah.
That's definitely not happening.
Just watching Tiger play at the Masters, I was 6 feet from him when he hit his tee ball on 10, and I strategically stood there for 35 minutes waiting on him to get there. But it was bad. It was badass. He's limping too, so you're just like, this feels like 2008 at the U.S. Open, and it just, God bless him for walking 72 holes. I figured he'd bail after Saturday.
And I was so happy he didn't, even though he didn't play good on Sunday. Like, I was like, you know what? That's sick. And he's just basically going out and saying, I'm doing this. And I'm just going to do everything I can. I said I was going to do it, and I'm going to do the unthinkable. And obviously he's going to continue to get stronger. And he just really started walking not that long ago. And then he walked Augusta.
He's the bionic man.
Was that like the craziest walk ever? Like, is there
craziest walk? Yeah. And that was another thing, like feeling good, like walking around the Masters with my good friend that was one of the people that intervened in my life. I was like, man, I could have never done this before, because it's a hellacious walk.
Yeah.
And you walked 4 miles total from, round trip from
to
the
get
car
there
to the course. Yeah.
Oh man.
So you're hiking down Washington for what seems like forever. Then you hang a right and start going down towards the property, and that's another mile. And then I had my little PGA card, and I didn't even know if I was going to get in. I was just like, I just had my Class A card, because if you play a certain amount of years or make a certain amount of money or something in golf, you can be a Class A for the rest of your life. And it's $280 a year. So that basically means $280 for a Masters ticket.
It's like, okay.
Sounds good. And you can go every day. And the line has 0 people in it. And they like escorted me into the Masters. I was skipping. I mean, I was frolicking.
Do they have anything for NFL players? Probably not.
I think you could finagle tickets. Just talk to the right.
Unbelievable experience, I'm sure, though.
Oh, it was great. Yeah. And just with the way I feel and just being there with my buddy, and saw I saw 5 or 6 people that I knew, Korn Ferry guys. Michael Sims from Bermuda. He was there. I saw Matt Ryan, not the quarterback, the lefty kid from the Korn Ferry tour. Yeah, totally badass. And it's just another stepping stone in my life right now, where it's just kind of like, check, like, walk 11 miles at Augusta, check.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm listening to your story, and because someone was, well, I know you're about done. You got time you have another interview, but the thing that I have thought of, because people have talked about since 2019 or whatever, everything going on in our world, right? Or 2020, I don't know, somewhere in that.
It all runs together.
Yeah, frame of mind. I've came to a point, and I think a lot of it has to do with my faith. Everyone has a different deal, but I have never, and this seems like where you're at on clarity. I have never been so alive. Like in my life, I've never been so alive to do things. Obviously, everyone knows my love for golf. That's been very documented. I've never been so excited for that. I've never been so excited to be a dad and a husband. I just I feel so alive, and there's nothing better than having that clarity. And it seems like you have that in a huge way right now.
Yeah. I mean, I can, get my thoughts across, more clearly. And, that's a big one. I think my voice has gone up a few octaves. Or before I was like, yeah, but it was just this disgusting baritone. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every day just, is just, I just tell this one guy that I talked to, I was just like, I'll just wake up and crush it. That's all you can do. And whether that's hitting balls or, giving somebody a good tip and they flush it, or just walking 9 with a kid that wants to play with me, which I do a lot of that now. Like when a kid's like, do you want to go play golf? I'm like, yeah, man, let's go. And I play with them all the time. And I teach a lot of young kids, and I just try to keep them. My lessons are so much different now. If I'm stumped on somebody's swing, then my goal is to just make them laugh like 3 or 4 times. And if I can make them laugh, then I'm good. And one more thing before I bounce, I found out like what you were just saying about being alive, like being social and being there for your friends and interacting with other human beings. If you have a lack of that in your life, it actually has the same negative effect on your brain as being addicted to drugs, which was a crazy thing. So now I've gone from not hanging out with people and doing drugs to hanging out with tons of people and not doing anything. So it's I think that's a pretty notable quote. I don't know who said that, but I found it to be.
We'll just say it's you. I don't know, man. We've been given this life to live, and there's nothing more exhilarating than taking advantage of it.
For sure. Yeah. You just can't sit around, especially somebody in your shoes. I mean, what do you have? 4 kids?
4. So
4 children. Wow.
Yeah.
The name goes on. I'm the 5th. I gotta have.
Oh, really?
God's sake. Yeah. Wow. So I don't want the Wilcox name to end with my dumb ass. God. But no. Maybe around 60, I'll have a kid,
Why not? Right.
Yeah.
People are doing it at 70. So yeah, I think you can.
Yeah.
This guy right here. Hey, Will, it takes a lot of courage to come on here and talk, and that Band-Aid's been ripped up just not too long ago. So number one, really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I love how you're talking about, it's easy when you are doing things that you're not supposed to just hide. Right. And I love that you're making it aware that I mean, humans aren't meant to be alone. There's people for everyone. And the other thing is everybody thinks that they're doing it by themselves, but they're not. So I appreciate you having the courage, and not only that, being a male and being a professional, because we don't like to talk. So I appreciate that just from me. Thank you for your time.
And it's the most nails thing ever, because I think so many more people deal with this type of stuff.
Well, we're in a crisis, but
it's just no one wants to tell, because everyone sees it as embarrassing.
Everybody's man. I've gotten, 1,000+ messages from people
That's
that
sick.
It'll be your heal. It'll make you. It'll be part of the healing process.
For sure.
Like, you have. Yep.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. It was a bold move. Let's see how it plays out. Although, right to this point, it's played out great. And thankfully, my dad will still talk to me. But yeah, I don't know. I've always been kind of an open book, and now we're actually releasing a book. So
let's go.
Yeah, and so literally that article barely touched on what happened in my life, and that's
I'm sure.
kind of part. Just barely. So anyhow, absolutely. I enjoyed it very much, and I hope you guys, enjoyed it too.
Hey, thanks for coming on. Excited to play golf with you at Dismal. That's going to be a riot. It's going to be so much fun. And Mikey D, that was a little bold move by challenging us to a little game, but I think it might be over already.
I want to know what Mikey D is doing, because I played with you guys from the tips last year. He couldn't even reach that first par 3, the 220 yard whatever. He couldn't even get it there.
Head driver.
Yeah, and he sliced it over onto like number 6. The par 3 is like number 3.
Well, who's Mikey D?
Mike Dominic, the one. He's the semi-pro on Twitter. Yeah, Mike Dominic. Yeah, he's semi-pro.
I have never seen
professional golf for a while.
I've never seen a quote unquote professional golfer play so poorly.
Yeah.
Okay, don't do that.
Sounds like he's swinging about 10 degrees left.
Oh man, that's so funny. Hey, Willie, we'll have a great day. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Y'all too. I appreciate it very much. Have a good one.
Thanks, Will.
All right, you too.
Later.
Sick.
Well, that was
story.
Intense.
Yeah. Awesome story. Awesome guy. Excited to get to know him a little bit more as we kind of hang out with him and play golf at Dismal.
Is he going to drink with me at Dismal?
Dude,
probably not.
I wouldn't bet on it, but
yeah.
But that's okay. That's more than okay.
It's all right. It's gonna be me and Blois.
Yeah, you and Blois just cutting it up, I guess. You and B. Lois hanging out. You and Blazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we didn't prep for any of this, but do you guys want to drop the other two?
No. Yeah. Let's do another. Let's do.
All right, I want to know. All right, so literally didn't even think anything about this, but you towards the end of the interview with Willie, you talked about that you've never had so much clarity in your life. Like, so tell me how you've gotten there. When did you get there? And why did you need to be like, yo, I need to just get some clarity?
Yeah, I think so it's funny, like we look back on, when I retired, right? Just the whole processing of everything. And I definitely felt like there was some clarity after retirement. For sure, just on what I'm doing, what I want to do, what I want to be a part of. So yeah, I think there was there was an amount there, and I'll go into more here in a second, but I think four, I don't even know how many years ago, it's like, okay, I'm the next phase of my life, right? I was so used to doing just everything, right, for football. And I just had a plan. I had this, that, and the other. And then I would say a little over a year ago, probably not quite year and a half, year and 15 months ago. We have this thing at church. It was a conference that we have at the beginning of the year, every year pretty much. So maybe 15 and a half months. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. Time frame. And I can't remember what the talk was, but I was just like, we were praying or something was going on. I was praying and I felt like God told me to start leading. I'm like, I don't even know what the freak that means. Right. Like it was just one of those things where I was like, I felt very strong about it. It's like, all right, well, I guess I have to lead my family and stuff. Right. Is that what I'm supposed to do? And then 3 weeks later, I ended up talking with one of the leaders at the church, one of the higher ups, and they were looking for leaders to help lead young adults. And that's when I knew I was supposed to go into that frame of mind and serve at the church a little bit more and kind of lead a young adult group. And my wife and I, we ended up doing that, and we still do that. And it was something that not that we probably needed, I guess, but I think that was kind of the journey of starting to see my purpose on that side. Right. And in kind of like helping the younger generation seek after the deal that like is the most important part of my life, and that's my faith and my relationship with Jesus Christ. And that was my way of being able to help others younger, not because I haven't figured out, it's just I'm older, I guess, right? And they're looking for older Christians, and just leading has been very good for us in building relationships with a generation that probably I wasn't going to really build relationships with, people that are 18 to 30 years old. So that's been huge. And then I would say even in December this past year, I had another light bulb go on a little bit just about my faith. Even more, I've been serving God for 31 years or something like that. That's been like my number one thing in my life for the last 31 years. But it's funny, everyone's on a journey with their faith, and mine just is at a different point than it was 6 months ago or something, or 15 months ago, or 4 years ago. And that's what's cool. It's just a process. It's a journey. And I would say in December, there was a lot of clarity as far as scripturally different things in my life. And that would be, if we look back into the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, it's talking about Jesus's life. I mean, fitting, I guess, now that we're talking about this with Easter yesterday. But when Jesus was he died, rose again, and before he ascended into heaven, if anyone didn't know, he ends up ascending into heaven after he was raised from the dead. Can't remember how many days he was alive, but he went to talk to his disciples, went to talk to like 500 other brothers and sisters, which are just people that believed in him and are followers. And so he talked to them. And before he did that, he said, it's going to be better for me to leave. And people are like, what are you talking about? Why are you leaving? Like, where are you going? You're alive again. You just got raised from the dead. That's really cool and sick and savage. Like, no one does that. But what he did was he said it was going to be better for me to leave because I'm going to send you in scriptures. It says the advocate or the Holy Spirit. So if anyone's familiar with the gospel, there's God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. If you're a Christian, you believe in the Trinity. And God the Holy Spirit is living in you daily if you follow Jesus. And I think when Jesus said that, and then he ascended into heaven, he was obviously, because he said it, he was meaning, I'm going to be with you for the rest of time until like you die or until you go to heaven, whatever. And I think even more than ever, it kind of resonated with me that like, holy crap, we read the scriptures and it's like, man, Jesus was nails. He was healing people. People were touching his robe. They were healed. He hung out with tax collectors, prostitutes, whatever. Like the last thing people think Christians should ever do. And he was healing people. He was loving people. He treated people correctly. And I think in December, maybe it was more than anything, it was a light bulb. And it was like, holy crap, that same Jesus that was walking the earth in those sandals and getting his feet dirty and then washing his disciples' feet, doing just absolutely bizarre things in a good way, like good bizarre, like that spirit is living inside of my life. And I think it was just like a lot of clarity. It's like, oh my gosh, I got the savior of the world living inside of me, like kind of nudging me to do certain things. And in the past, I don't know if I thought of it like that. I always thought of like my relationship with God as being number one, but there was like a light bulb that went on and I was like, holy balls, like really? Like I have this, my spirit, because everyone has a spirit, everyone has a soul, right? Well, mine's the Holy Spirit. And that's like living in me and helping me go through every day. When I'm in complete douche to my wife or my kids, like that's probably not how I should be living. It's like, so I make it a constant on the daily, be like, all right, I need you today. Holy Spirit, fill me up, like make my decisions be your decisions. Because when you have that relationship, when you have the Holy Spirit living in you, like you have that access. And it's like, maybe I need to focus on trying to access that every day. And because when and it's the thing too, like when I am nice to my wife, that's who lives in me. That it ends up becoming me. But like, if I'm just doing it on my own, like if you're doing it off your own fleshly desires, you're going to screw up a lot of times. You're just not going to be that nice of a person. At least myself, I'm saying. So I think just the clarity, and because of all that, man, like I feel alive. I feel like I've never been this alive in my 37 years of life. I feel just like it's almost like a light bulb has went on, and it's been awesome because, like I said, my faith has been the most important part of my life, but like now it's like on a whole nother level. Does that mean I'm perfect? No. Because my wife, probably in the last 6 months or last however many months, I've been just as much of a tool bag to her than I ever have been. Because the thing is, it didn't change. I've had that access the whole time. It's just the understanding of the access a little bit more. So like, man, I've never been more excited to be alive. I've never been more excited to hopefully impact people in a good way. Yeah. So like, I'm loving what's going on in my life. I'm loving I guess it's clarity.
Sick.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent 2 years researching clarity, like literally. I'm going to hopefully get a book wrapped up around it, really targeting people in midlife, because I think it gets confusing after dynamic of being in a relationship for a long time, working at the same place for a long time, that we just get in the process of going through the motions just because that's what we're supposed to do. So I think the ultimate freedom in life is clarity, because if you are clear, that answers all your decision making. If your purpose is to do this and somebody is asking you to do this, if it's not aligned with your purpose, why the hell would you go do it?
Yeah.
And I think we're in a generation where we want everything. We want more stuff, and more stuff is more problems. And I think that once you can, number one, you are aware Like you were aware, Danny, that, and you were willing to listen to new opportunities come in. Like you have to get to that point of to get out of your routines. You mean, are you just waking up to just go check off a checkbox all day, or are you not? Right. Like, and most people have to. There are no choices. Single moms, like there's just things you have to do all day. But I'm always, concerned, like you have to make self for your time, because when you start doing things for other people all the time, if you're not firing in all cylinders yourself, how can you give them, whoever you're trying to help, put them in the best position? So yeah, I really think clarity is the ultimate freedom.
Yeah. And the other thing is like, because the last 4 years, more so right after retirement. And I mean, there's times things can creep in, but there was also like different things like with peace and stuff. Like if I want to have peace in my life, like if I don't want to be jumbled, like God is one of the names. I'm sure you've heard it at the Catholic Church too, but like he's called the Prince of Peace. Like, so like if you want to have peace, maybe let's try to access that, Dan. Like, not that I'm always not at peace, but like when I'm doing it on my own, I'm not. Like I'm never at peace, ever.
Right.
Ever. So like, why don't I use the access that I have to the one that is like the king of all that? Like that's just like trying to put two and two together. It's like, oh, maybe that makes sense. Maybe that's how you get peace.
Well, I mean, if you care enough to get to that point, like you have to care enough to be willing, right?
For sure.
And that's how you roll anyway. Like it's either all in or not.
That's just how I am.
And so that's the way that you process. And amazing. Like great to hear that, you were open and it fell on in you and you're like, like, I mean, I could even just tell in the short, I mean, we've known each other for a couple of years. I can tell
in the last 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing midlife people go through: change of jobs, retirement, but you guys just happen to do it at a younger age. And it's not an easy transition for anyone. Nobody.
No,
everybody's like,
it doesn't matter if you're 70.
I'll figure it out when I get there. No, figure it out now. Like take the time now to start working on that. You get clear on what you want to do. You make it higher than yourself. And you know what? Life is a competition. You go be the best at what you're trying to accomplish in life. So awesome. Love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that you were talking about the story at Easter, considering we just had that. And you brought up a point of the gospel that actually came up last night that I had no answer for, although I don't have an answer for a lot of things. But my
no, you do every time almost.
My boys love to ask me questions about God, and I do my best. Saturday, to kind of kick off the Easter celebration, Cammie felt the boys were old enough now. So as a group, we watched Passion of the Christ. Cammie'd never seen it before. So I think after we watched it, she was like, ooh, maybe the boys weren't ready for that. It's a lot more intense than.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think so I saw it when it came out back in 2004. Bawled my eyes out like half of that flick. And when she said she wanted to watch it with the boys, I was like, okay. I mean, but what Mama Bear wants, she gets, so I'm not going to say anything. And as it's going on, she's just like cringing, covering her eyes, and it's like, yep, this is how I remember it. And so fast forward to last night, we're eating Easter dinner. And I guess by the time this airs, it was three days ago, Easter dinner. One of my boys asked me, he said, Dad, so when Jesus came back to life, it wasn't like he was a ghost, right? Like he actually came back to life. I said, yeah. Yeah, he 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 rose from the dead. He came out of the tomb, and he goes, well, then what happened? Because I know he went to heaven, but how did he get there? Because if he came back to life, then he was just a human again. And so, like, did somebody kill him? Did he get sick? Did he die of old age and then go to heaven? Like, how did that all work? And I'm like, holy crap, I have no idea.
Like, don't ask me that.
I've literally never thought about that in my life, because my story of Easter has never been what the Bible says. It's just what the church has said. And you know, he rose from the dead and ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father. Well, there's a lot of like implied things there that you have no idea how any of it worked. You just know he was dead, then he was alive, then he was in heaven. What the heck happened? So to have you talk about that today, how he kind of went on a little bit of a tour, talking to a bunch of people. But I still have no idea. Did he just like,
so he ascended, he like just basically before their eyes just went into heaven. And that's what's nuts, is it's like, and the thing that's nuts too, like that I like, and it's really came to the realization of me this year, is he said, which is twisted, and he lived like a sick life, like died because he was doing great things, right? Being the savior of the world. And he said, it's going to be better for me or better for all you guys that I leave. And I'm like, I remember when I heard that, I was like, wait a second, you're the greatest human of all time. Like, it's not going to be good if you leave. But what he was saying is like, no, because in order for you to get my spirit, I have to go to heaven. And then everyone in the whole entire universe has access to that. But I have to leave for you to get, for everyone to get the opportunity. Otherwise, it's just the people he was hanging out with.
Temple and rebuild it in 3 days. And
he did it.
I tell you what, after watching Passion of the Christ with the kids, it left them with more questions, I think, because it has been nonstop ever since. And even during the movie, we had to pause it like 100 times, because they're like, why would he do this? Why would Jesus just like give up and just like let them do this? If he's the Son of God, if he is God, then why would he just like allow this to happen? And I'm just like spinning my wheels. I'm like,
that he had to defeat death.
I don't know, but he knows he's supposed to be doing this. That's what's so crazy about the story, is he knew that Judas was going to betray him, and he knew that Peter was going to deny him, and he knew how horrific and evil the people were going to be to him, and yet he still did it anyway.
And the thing that it's nuts,
and he knew he had to do it.
It's nuts that he came back in human form, though. Like, he set aside his deity, and he's like a human, and had the same like temptations and whatever. He just didn't take part in them, or maybe not the same exact, but I'm saying like he was tempted, but he didn't take part in them. It's like the most Nails story. The thing that I said on Twitter yesterday is I said, it's the most Nails love story I've ever heard of, because people like the Bible, if you like go into it, it's a love story. It has nothing to, it's not like just like a bunch of random things put in there. It's a love story, because if you think about it, the Old Testament's all leading up to Jesus, and there's like prophetic, like all these prophecies of what's going to happen way before he comes. Like way before he comes, there's all these prophecies that are talked about, and then when he comes, all those prophecies they're true. And then the only thing it is like, if people always talk about love, it's like, that's who Jesus was. That's who God is. God is love. And it's going to look different. And it's not this weird love that people are, it's just like caring about people, doing different things to love, like actually just being there for people. Sometimes if it's someone close to you, it's correcting them. as a parent, it's correcting your children sometimes. But it's like the craziest love story there's no love story that compares, because it's one person saving the universe, or saving every human in the universe. I think it's nails. I don't have anything else to say about it, unless you guys do.
No, I don't have anything. I just find it hilarious, the kids that the questions that my kids come up with. I mean, they asked me last night when I was putting them to bed. They said, so the devil was an angel at one point, right? And I said, yeah. And they go, so was he the first one that God created? Because I thought angels were people that died and went to heaven. And I was like, shoot, I never thought about this either. I don't know. I mean, my assumption was that angels were at one point people, and now they're up in heaven with God. And he goes, yeah, but he made Adam and Eve first, but the devil was in the garden telling them to eat the apple. And I'm like, Jesus, kids, like, can you stop giving me the most ridiculous questions ever? Like, I don't know how all this works. Okay. I just try to do my best. So,
I don't think until we're dead and in heaven, I don't think we'll know.
Well,
Like,
that's
there's so many
exactly what
things.
I tell
There's
them.
so many things. Now, there's a lot of things that are in scripture, but there's a lot of things that's like, you just got to trust and not, like, I don't understand everything. I don't understand why people die. I don't understand why people get sick. I think that we're in a fallen world where sin is there, and yeah, and bad things happen. But at the end of the day, like, if I look back at my life, and I think anyone else in the world looks back at their life, even if there's been negative things that happen, like, there have been negative things that happen, there have been positive things that happen, but at the end of the day, the God that I serve has always been faithful in taking care of me, even when bad things have happened. And he's never going to stop being faithful. So that's where I'm at.
Sweet.
Should I cover my son's ears, Gabe, so we can move into the next one?
Yeah. I think
Because
so.
they're home.
So.
They're home. So
I'm going
to tell him to go to the outside for a bit.
Yeah.
So he's not like asking me questions.
Nah, Gabe, get in here. Get in here, Gabe. Get in here. Kids, come on in.
Yeah, get on this rug, kids. It's been a couple week break. It's been good to kind of step away, rejuvenate a little bit, and open up with a sick
down,
guest.
children.
So yeah, excited to get back at story time. So kids,
sit down.
Get your asses over here.
Gather around, children.
So yeah, this last week was an interesting week. All I want to do right now is just play golf and get grooved, and this weather is nuts.
Trash.
Yeah, trash bag weather. I mean, I don't know what this John Kerry guy is fighting for right now, because this global warming crap. I mean, you want to talk about myths. I mean, on what was it on? I don't even know what day it was last week. Was it Tuesday that it was like crazy winds?
It's every day, bro.
Yeah, it has been unreal winds, and for the last I don't know how long, Woody, like 2 months, we've sort of been kind of rebuilding my swing together a little bit, and it's been going really well. But it's a dramatic change in my swing from what I was doing before. And when you're working on something that dramatically new, and then you go play in the wind,
doesn't help,
and bad things can happen real fast. And then as soon as it does, then about 20 other bad things happen. And then you have to pretty much start over again. So yeah, at this point in the year, I feel like I'm starting over almost every day. And that's tough, but it also is fun because I'm getting to learn a lot of things. Last week I played on Tuesday, and it was 30 to 50 mile an hour winds with gusts
Oh my goodness
higher than
gracious.
that. And then we got crazy thunderstorms at night. And I know those thunderstorms hit you guys up there, although I don't know if you were back from Arizona then.
I was in Arizona.
Oh, okay. So you weren't here for it.
No.
But yeah, storms were crazy. We had a tornado rip through 20 miles to the north. We had another tornado rip through 15 miles to the south. Crazy hail, lightning, winds. Yeah, just ridiculousness. So I get home from golf, playing in crazy weather, crazy wind, shot pretty good. It was actually weird. My expectations were crap. I had my little Libby partner with me, who was so in his head about the wind, and of course it was raining
It's
in the morning.
surprising that he's not a lefty now in golf. I just figured he would.
I know you think he would be. But yeah, I leave the house, it's like 52 degrees and a little bit windy, and by the time I get to the course it's 43 degrees and just pouring rain and super wind. I'm like, what the hell? There was no rain in the forecast, at least until the storms came in at night. So my partner's all in his head, going nuts. He's like the biggest baby when it comes to weather like that. So we start going, and he has he's like missing putts, and I'm like, bro, will you stop freaking out? Okay, because these are conditions where you have to adjust your putting for the wind, and we're not realistically going to play in that. I mean, we're not going over to Scotland and playing in things like that. So I just said, once all this crap goes through, it's going to be normal golf. So if you miss a putt because of the wind, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. Well, we both end up holding it together pretty good and shooting pretty good rounds. Then I race home, and the winds are just nuts. And my wife goes, should we move the chicken coop so it doesn't blow away again? And I said, yep, because we just got done repairing the whole thing from the last storms that took the thing all the way across the field and exploded the thing apart. All the chickens were on the loose. So we had to rework the thing, and she didn't want to go through that again. So we took out all the chickens and cranked it up, wheeled it over to our big hay trailer deal, and I ended up strapping it to that. And then we go in the house, we're hanging out, and we have these screens off our back deck. On our back deck, we have this overhang, and then a section of the deck, and then outside the overhang, there's another section of the deck, and we had these screens installed that are automatic screens that come down, and it kind of creates like a sunroom effect, and they can go up and down. And I'm watching these screens just whip in the wind. And I told her, should we put up the screens? And she goes, well, that's kind of the tough thing. If we put up the screens, then everything on the deck will be destroyed. If we have the screens down, then it's at least blocking the screen from everything on the deck. I said, honestly, I know roundabout how much these screens cost. I don't know the exact number, but I know roundabout. And if one of these screens breaks, I'm going to be furious. I'd rather shit on the deck get broke. She's like, all right, well, how about we just save it all from getting broken? We just bring what we can in the house and put up the screen. So we did that. We got the deck clear, and we're just sort of sitting there watching the storm wall come in. And I could see it coming from the west, this huge wall of just black. And you see the lightning flashes in there, and you see the swirling clouds, and stuff is getting nuts. And then just like when it was like a mile away, I'm just watching the wall, and my wife goes, what's that? I said, what? She goes, there's an animal in the field. I said, yeah, we have a whole bunch of them, and they're just out there. They've been there for a couple of years.
Yeah, Cammy, did you not know we had animals?
Yeah, like such a douchey thing for me to say. But but no, she goes, no, you idiot. There's another
No,
animal.
you idiot.
There's another animal in there. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, right there. What is that? And I see it. And I do. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not one of our animals. So I'm thinking it's a coyote. And I'm like, great. I'm gonna have to go get my gun and shoot this thing in 100-mile-an-hour winds and try not to hit any of our other animals. So maybe just the storm has this coyote confused or something. But instead of going and grabbing my gun, I just grabbed the binoculars off the counter, and I just look out there. I'm like, holy crap, there's a calf in the field. And it's calving time for a lot of the ranchers around here. And I'm like, man, my neighbor's calf must have got out and come over here. But I'm like, that's weird. Calves don't do that. They break out a fence all the time because they're so small they can sneak out anywhere. But they usually break out and then they find a spot like 10, 20 yards away, and they just lay down in whatever cover they can find. They're not gonna come like a quarter mile over here. So I thought it was weird, and I was like, well, you better call the neighbor and let him know. And then the calf turns and I see its white face, and I'm like, no, that's not theirs. That's not anybody else's. That's our calf. And Cammie's like, what? I said, yeah, Mira had a calf. Mira being our Hereford heifer. We had no idea she was pregnant. No idea calf was on the way. And as soon as I saw, it was almost like to the second, as soon as I saw it was our calf and it clicked, boom, the thunder hit, hail just started downpouring. This calf is left out in the cold, and the hail and the lightning, and all the other cows are over by the barn under the overhang of the barn, and they're calling to it, they're mooing to it. This calf has no idea what it's doing. It's like it was just born into World War III or something. It's just like, what the hell is going on? Put me back in. I want zero part of this. And so Cammie's freaking out. She's like, what do we do? I said, well, what do you want me to do? There's lightning and thunder and tornadoes everywhere. I mean, I can run out there. I'm not like scared of those things. I generally feel pretty good that, God's looking out. He knew what he created in me, and he knew that I'm going to go do some stupid stuff. And I feel like he's got protection on me. But my wife is always of the thought of, let's not test that, shall we?
Makes sense, right?
Yeah. So I was, but she was so concerned about it, about this calf that was like lost in the middle of the field in the storm. I'm like, well, you want me to go? And she thought about it for a second. I'm like, oh my God, she's actually thinking about sending me out there to die. But she's like, no, we can't go. We can't go. We just have to wait until the lightning passes. No, we did. And we ran out there. It was actually funny because we couldn't do anything. We're standing on the deck and we're watching the calf. And this calf is confused. Like I said, all the other animals are under the overhang of the barn. They're calling to him. And to watch the humanity of these animals, it was so cool to watch a group of animals that are just calling and calling and calling. And then it's like they all got together and they huddled together and said, all right, guys, we're a fucking family here. We don't leave one of our own out there. And they all came out and they herded this little calf back on over to the barn. I was like, holy shit, that was so cool to watch this. So as soon as the lightning passes, we put on all our mud clothes and we go out there and we're able to get the mama and the calf into the stalls of the barn. And it was an absolute blast seeing this thing that we had no idea was coming. No idea where it came from at first. Because we didn't think our little bull was even ready to, get after it.
Your little bull got after it.
Oh, he got after it. I mean, there's a rancher that's around here that's been helping me out a lot. He's been doing it for a lot of years. And he said, typically when you're talking about longhorn bulls, they develop slower in the beginning because they can breed for 20 to 25 years. So he said typically they aren't ready to mate till they're, at least 2, sometimes after that. And
He was wrong.
And he just, our bull just turned 2 about a month ago. And he, because this calf was just born, that means he was only like 14, 15 months old when he got after it. And this rancher told me, he said, the second you see him mount, give me a call and I'll come over and I'll AI the heifers, because that means he's smelling them, that they're ready to go, and he's now ready to go. But he may not actually be ready to go because he's so young. So he says, just watch him. If you ever see him try to mount any of them, give me a shout. I have never seen it. I've been around those cows a lot. Never seen him have any interest in it at all.
He's kind of a little bit more secretive with his relationships.
Apparently, he's a little shy guy. Guy. He's like going back in the woods or something.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I don't want anyone to see me. Let's go over here, lady.
Yeah, he's probably like, I don't want anybody judging the size of my deal.
Right. Well, because he's not that old.
You're right. So
I think I'm probably the same size as I was when I was 2, though.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, he's been just getting after it in secret. And it was nuts when I got these the mom and the calf in the stall. I was able to push out all the other animals. It was so awesome to see how attentive this bull was. He would not leave the door to that stall.
Really?
He was just poking his head over the door, just like looking to see what's up. Like, hey, what are you guys in there? And I'm out here. Like that's my kid. Get me in there. And it was really cool to see that, because I wasn't expecting that. I've been around cows a lot of my life, and usually when a bull does his deal, he's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm done. I got no more to do with this until I'm ready to go again. And that bull would not leave the side of that barn. So yeah, then the next day I had to go to the vet. I called the vet because I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I was not expecting a calf, and now I got a calf, and I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to be doing now. Like, the calf is doing great. She's nursing. She's healthy, lively, energetic. Like, everything's going well. She's going to the bathroom good. But I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing shots or whatever else. And she's like, well, we can come out, but that costs us a lot more if we come out. So you can just come in and pick up the meds or load up the cows and bring them in here. And then we can administer all the shots here. And I'm like, wow, okay, I'll just come in and get the meds, thinking it's going to be easy peasy. And it was not. I walk in and they had a little thing set up, a little package.
Last words, little package. Out of nowhere.
What's he doing?
He probably still thinks he's alive. Oh, here he comes.
And we're back.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. I don't. These winds that came through has affected our internet somehow. So
making it even better.
Well, no, we did get better internet. Our internet speed has doubled, but with these last storms, it like cranked our little satellite on top of the house a little bit. And I was up there fixing it the other day, and it worked good. But now every like 45 minutes or so, it just cuts out for a second. So, what was the last thing y'all heard?
Oh, it was little package.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you went to go pick up a little package, and it was not easy. That's where we lost you.
It wasn't easy. They gave me this stuff called nasal gin, some type of concoction you mix together, and you take the syringe and you got to suck out the juice of this one thing and put it into this other thing, and then shake it up, mix it together, then get the syringe, pull it out, then put this other little top on, squirt it up their nose, half and half, everything's good. And they said, and this is the blackleg vaccine, and this is an under the skin one. And she's like, and this is this over here. And I said, whoa, I feel like you glazed over that under the skin part. Said, what do you mean by that? She goes, yeah, this is just a shot that goes under the skin. I said, okay, is there like a special flap on their skin that I don't know about? I felt like the lady was talking to me like I was a doctor or a nurse, and I just know.
But you're like a nurse, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, she goes, it just goes under the skin. I said, where under the skin? She goes, in the neck. Okay, well, how does it get there? Well, there's a needle in there. And who does that? Well, you do that. Oh,
okay. Yeah, normal.
So how do I do that? She goes, you just grab a hunk of stuff on the neck and pull it up, and just, there you go. Like, I still feel like you're not explaining yourself. So anyway, I'm just like, all right, I'll figure it out. It'll be good. And so I get home, and I'm like, okay, I get to jab a needle into this little calf, and hopefully I don't do it wrong and this calf just dies, because I'm just going into the neck with this needle. And it's not a small needle either. And it was a lot harder to punch it through that skin than I was anticipating. So yeah, now I'm pretty much a vet.
That's crazy.
So
what? You literally became a veterinarian. You also are counseling this little cow family.
Mm-hmm.
You're consulting the bull, or you're counseling the bull because he wants to be with his kid.
Mm-hmm.
You have a group, a nice little small group family that acts better than half the human families. They're making sure this little one gets in there correctly.
Yeah.
You had a time.
But now it's kind of weird me out, because I'm going, well, if that one heifer was pregnant, who the hell else is pregnant around here? Because there's 2 other heifers out there.
Oh, I was gonna say, do you think you're pregnant?
No, but I'm going, how many other calves are gonna just drop out, and I have no idea. So that's going to be interesting to watch. So yeah, that was my story. Just want to share. I know it's got nothing to do with anything really.
No, it's a great story.
It was pretty cool.
No.
Children.
No. We're not gonna. I'm not worried. I can't believe this didn't get brought up in a group text. I congratulated him because I saw your wife had shared that somewhere, and I said that's such a cool moment. And you said, yeah, it was incredible till the mother-in-law started barking orders.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that. Thank you.
I did not.
More of the story.
Children, this is where you really need to listen, children.
Yeah. So my mother-in-law's a vet. What was a vet at one point in time? A vet tech.
For real? Okay.
A vet tech. I don't know what that means. She's like, I don't know if that means like a nurse in veterinary medicine,
or if you just answer the phone, like you don't know what that means.
Yeah. But
I think
she was a vet tech in Chicago suburbs.
Yeah, I think it's where like they bring a dog in and she puts the dog in the room.
Yeah, she was dealing with dogs and cats and fucking gerbils.
I hate cats. Oh my gosh.
Gerbils up sphincters and whatnot.
Are they thinking about making cats not animals anymore?
Yeah. So
I think they're rodents. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, when we got the calf in the stall with its mom, and mother-in-law wanted to come and see it. She's very curious, and mind you, she's never worked with cows in any capacity. Vet tech in Chicago. And I've got very little fear around these gigantic animals. I'm just like, I'm going to do what I got to do to get this thing handled. And yes, Mama Cow was very leery of me and what I was doing, because I had to check the calf for some things to make sure everything's all good. And she was looking at me like, "Hey, buddy, you're getting too close. That's my kid, and I'm gonna kill you if you don't step away." And my mother-in-law is outside the stall, like losing her shit. Like, Matt, you need to stop. You need to back away. Mom is getting upset. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting upset. Just be quiet. I got this. And where the umbilical cord attaches on a calf, it's always the same. And it always looks exactly the same. It's like puffy, swollen. It's like hanging down. And she's like, "Oh my God, it's already got what does she call it? Umbilical hernia or abdominal hernia or something."
Yeah.
I don't know what she called it. And I'm just like this. It's like, oh my God, what in the hell? Why is everything automatically, something's wrong? This thing's dying. It's done. She does the same thing with our dogs. If our dogs cough, oh, they have bloat. They need to be put down. But the dog sneezed. Can you stop sentencing our dogs to death every time they sneeze? So yeah, I literally flip over the calf, and she's like, "Oh, see, hernia." I've been around a lot of newborn calves. It always looks like that every single time. She's like, "Nope, something doesn't look right." And I walk out of there. I'm just like, oh. Okay. I told my wife, I said, "Babe, tomorrow I have to go get this medicine for the calf, and just please make sure she isn't here. Just, I don't want to hear it about how I'm doing this shit wrong, because it's pretty obvious she has no clue what she's doing when it comes to cows." And she's like, "Yep, got it." And then I went and picked up the stuff and the big needle there that I'm supposed to inject. And I was thinking about, I'm like, maybe I should call her to come and do this. And then I almost like slapped the crap out of myself. Like, what are you doing? No, you will figure this out on your own. And if you kill the calf, well, whatever. At least you didn't have to deal with her. So then I called Cammie. I said, "There is a big needle that I have to inject into this calf. So please make sure your mom isn't anywhere near this barn, because she's going to be sitting there second guessing everything I do, saying, 'Nope, you're doing it wrong. It's in the wrong place. Oh, you're going too deep. Oh, you're not going deep enough.'"
And you didn't need that.
I don't want it.
Don't want it. Don't need it.
What a great lesson that, we all have young kids. No one should go be a vet tech. Don't any of our kids don't do it because you think every animal is going to die.
Yeah.
It just ruins you.
We do
so
not.
Do not go to be a vet tech unless you want to just specialize in cats, and then we don't care.
Oh, they're not
yeah.
real.
Then put every one of them to death. I don't care. I don't think the world's going to miss any cats. Although we do have a lot of mice in the barn. So if anybody has any cats that they don't mind, they don't care what happens to them, send them over to me, because I'll put them up in the barn.
They don't care what happens to them.
Yeah. We did that once when I was playing. We had a lot of mice in the barn, and my brother-in-law went to Lowe's or Home Depot, or I don't know what it was, but a place where there were kids out there giving away cats. So he brought home like a box of like 12 cats to just put in the barn.
That's fine.
And our barn isn't big. It's like a 30 by 60 barn. It's not huge. And I remember asking him, like, "Don't you think that's a lot of cats for such a small barn?" And he goes, "Yeah, but some of them aren't going to make it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, true." I mean, there's badgers out here. There's eagles. There's coyotes, bobcats. So, I mean, he was right. 12 was not too much, because all 12 were gone inside of a week. So,
well, there's some hungry badgers.
Yeah. So anyway, again, if anybody has cats that they would like to get out on a work program, you won't see them again, but yeah, our barn needs it.
A work release.
It's like detasseling corn when we were kids. Just for the summer. No, but you're going to sign a waiver.
Mhm. Just in case. Just in case. A lot of bald eagles flying around and they like cats.